Hello. Um, it's me again. This is Ran. And earlier, I told y'all that I joined the Navy and telling y'all about some of the pre-entry topics, like MEP, what they do there, and now I'll be telling you about, some of my boot camp experience. Not positive. That's just a warning for y'all. So, if y'all came here to hear a positive experience, y'all should leave. Because it's not. It's not positive at all. But, we'll start from the beginning. Okay, so you travel to MEPS the day before you leave, and you usually leave on a Thursday, so I went to MEPS on a Wednesday. And you do almost everything you did the first time, just minus, well, you pee in the cup, and you go into that room where you have to strip down almost naked, and they, like, weigh you and ask you if anything has changed, and you say no, and yeah, that whole thing. And then after that, you go to the hotel room, and you stay there the night, and you get a wake-up call at 4:30 in the morning. I think now it changed. It used to be like 3:40, so I think it's like an hour more now of sleep you get, as if it matters. It really doesn't. You're tired as crap the whole time. I mean the whole time, not just that day, not the next, the whole time you're in boot camp. You are tired as hell. But anyway, you get up at like 4:30, you go down and eat breakfast, you watch a couple of videos on what it's going to be like, which are totally false. That's not what it's like at all. And then you go get on this charter bus, and it brings you to the airport, and you go to the airport, you board your plane. You usually have some people on your plane with you, at least some on your plane with you that are going to the same place that you are. And you get on the plane, and you arrive at your destination, and you're supposed to go to the Red Cross Center first. I don't recommend it, because if you go to the Red Cross Center first, you pass through too many gates, and then you only have like one place you can eat at. So I'd say go eat first. Enjoy your last seconds of freedom if you're still going, and if you haven't gone yet, don't go. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. But if you made up your mind and you're like, I don't care what she said, I'm going to go anyway, just eat first, then go to the Red Cross Center. You go to the Red Cross Center, and they give you instructions, very vague. It's such a mess. It was not very instructive at all. But anyway, we finally found out what we were supposed to do after a long time of just like trying to communicate properly. Me and my group figured out what to do. They appointed me leader. I don't know why. I have like no leadership skills. No. I don't know why they approved me leader. Just no. No. But anyway, so I led the group down to the area where we were supposed to be at, and we waited. We waited for so long. Hours and hours of waiting, because there has to be a minimum number of so many people have to be there before you can get on the bus. And people are flying in at different times, so it might take a while, or you might leave immediately. And the whole time you're there, you've already got the Army's equivalent of drill sergeants, which are petty officers in the Navy. And you've already got them drilling you, telling you what it's going to be like. Oh, it'll be so easy. The fastest way out of boot camp is to graduate. Not true. The fastest way out to just get out of this hell that you just got yourself into is to graduate. Not true. That's their like motto. They tell you because they know as soon as you get in, you're gonna realize that it's not at all what you thought, and you're gonna want to get out. So they're just like, fastest way to get out. I love when they say that, because it's such a bold-faced lie. But anyway, they start talking to you about like what a petty officer is, what a chief is, how to recognize them, what to call them ma'am, or to call them sir. And what's funny about that is some chiefs, they're just like, don't call me chief, call me sir. And other chiefs are like, why do you call me sir? I'm a chief. Call me chief. It's stupid. It's really stupid. It's like, okay, you have two names. They're two approved names. You're allowed to go by either. Don't chew at me if I call you by one of your approved names. I mean, that's what I'm supposed to call you. That's what, like, this whole experience told me to call. Anyway, don't even get me started on that. I'm very negative about this experience. It was a very negative experience for me. So anyway, I get on the bus with my group. We're in Great Lakes, Illinois, and we get on the bus and we start driving. They say it's going to be like 45 minutes, but it feels a lot shorter than that. And it's really night. It's like past midnight. It's really dark outside. You can't see where you're going. I think they do that on purpose so you don't run away, because they do have people run away. Why? Because it sucks. It's hell. And you're watching videos on the bus, and they're talking to you about what you're going to expect. You know, the processing, and because MEPS wasn't really processing, MEPS was just like really overgeneralized. Well, you get to the actual building at the boot camp area, and you go in the doors, and you're like all lined up, and you set your file down, because they give you a huge folder at the very beginning of all your MEPS records, and if you don't have it, you're screwed. So you have to have that, and you set that down, and they make you line up on these two different lines facing each other, and they make sure you're in proper dress code, and they start yelling at you about how you're not worth anything already, and how you're government property now, and then they give you a phone call to your parents, which is going to be the last time you're going to talk to your parents for at least 3 weeks. They don't tell you that anywhere. So just beware that when you call your parents, right then, that is the last time, period. There's nothing that will make you be able to call your parents again unless you get separated. There is nothing. That is the last time for 3 weeks minimum. They didn't tell us that. They were like, oh, you can send out letters immediately. That is a bold-faced lie. You do not send out letters immediately. They will not let you send out letters until you get to your permanent barracks, which usually does not happen for up to 3 weeks. Anyway, well, then you get sent into this room, and you have to like drink water and walk around the room until you have to go pee. And then when enough people have to go pee, for females, I don't know what it's like for males, obviously, because we're not supposed to go in there. There's like 2 rows of commodes facing each other, facing other recruits, and you pee facing these other just normal, not petty officers, just recruits. You pee facing them. They see everything, you see everything. If it wasn't the Navy, it would be considered a sex crime because you're forced to do it, but since it's the Navy, it's okay. Then you're peeing into a cup over the commode. Then you get up, you screw the cap on, you go wash your hands, you hold your pee over your head like this in a line. So you get up there, they make you label it yourself so they don't have to touch your pee. After that, they weigh you, they take your height. If you're overweight for your height, they don't care, really. They're supposed to care, they don't care. They just have to write it down. Actually, they're supposed to separate you, but they won't. They'll fudge the numbers. They always do, for the ones that I saw in front of me that were overweight. Let's see what else. Then after that, you're filling out some papers. They ask you if you have any musical ability. If you do, you get into a 900 division, which is like the band division. I was in a 900 division. I was in 926. Then after you get put into a division, you get separated, and you get issued a whole bunch of crap. It's not your uniform or anything, really. You just get issued like sweatpants and sweatshirt and stuff like that. It's not really a uniform, it's just stuff you sleep in. And you label everything. You have to label everything with your last name and your division, and they're screaming at you about how you're property. And you don't sleep. You do not sleep for at least 48 hours when you get there. And if you fall asleep, you will have your head chewed off. And that's just ridiculous, because they already have such a huge problem with sickness up there, because they're in like an incubated area with so many different people with different immunities and different sicknesses. You know, because people can carry sicknesses without showing symptoms, and a lot of people do. And not everybody is immune to the same symptoms, sicknesses. So a lot of people get sick, and they just don't care. I got sick. I got massively sick, but that's later on. That'll be in a later video. Anyway, that's about the first day or two. That's all you're doing, is getting issued stuff, getting yelled at, waiting around, not sleeping, getting sick as hell, learning what to call people, studying your book. You will study that book like it is the Bible, like more than the Bible, because you're not allowed to read your Bible like pretty much ever for the first 3 weeks. You're supposed to. You don't go to church for the first 3 weeks, which is your constitutional and religious right. You know, Bill of Rights #1, right to religion, and if your religion says that you have to go to church every Sunday, like some religions do, such as Christianity and Catholicism, they don't give a crap. You're not going to church. Why? Because you have no rights. You have no rights as a military person. You have no rights. You're supposed to. You don't. It's the price you pay, you know, for giving other people your freedom. Their freedom is giving up your freedom. So, yeah, beware of that. This video is too long, so I'll make a part 2, part 3, part 4, how many parts it takes to really get out the story and have people realize that if you're thinking that all it is a bunch of jumping jacks and people calling you a ninny, you know, for a couple weeks, that's not what it is at all. You're in a whole nother can of worms, buddy. So it is a huge decision. Don't make it rashly. Just think it through about what you're going to do. And I'll make a whole video about what it's like to be separated, what is separation, why do you get separated, why are there 2 different groups of people. I'll make a whole series of videos for my whole negative Navy experience. Hey, that's alliteration, negative Navy. And what I'm doing after, you know, what's life like now, because I've been discharged from the Navy. So, until next time, bye!